Welcome, hot dog fingers, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Reviews.
I knew you'd be going with that one.
I really couldn't think of anything else. It just flew off the tongue.
Yeah.
A planet where apes evolved from men with hot dog fingers? But Mike, is it ape law?
No, it's bun law.
Welcome to Retro Movie Reviews for the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we are concluding, after 2 months, we are concluding our look back at the Academy Awards Best Picture winners. And we decided to go with not so much a retro look, but this year's winner for Best Picture, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yep.
Which won 7 Academy Awards. It won 7 Academy Awards, nominated for 11.
It is actually apparently the most awarded film in history, if you count like all the other award shows.
It's, yes, based on that. The other thing that it is, it's the first movie to win 3 acting awards, screenwriting, editing, directing, and Best Picture.
Pretty much nearly all of the big ones. The only
Yeah.
one that didn't win was Best Actor because it didn't really have a leading actor.
There was no real leading male actor in here. I mean, movies like Network won 3 Oscars for acting performances, but it didn't win Best Picture. So this is the first movie to get 3 acting awards and Best Picture, which is pretty huge. Because this movie is, when this movie first came out and I was beginning to hear the rumblings of it, I had no idea that we would be here right now talking about this movie.
No.
In the context that we're talking about it in.
Right, yeah. I mean, when this one came out, I don't think anyone at the time was thinking that's a Best Picture Academy Award winner.
No. I honestly, it was one of those things where I was hearing rumblings that Ke Kwan might win Best Supporting Actor, or at least be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Because his, at the time, was the story coming out of this. It had been close to 30 years since he had done a movie. I
looked this up right before we came in here. His last film appearance, he was in, I guess he had a small role in a movie called Finding Ohana from last year. From 2021. But before that, his last role was in a movie in 2002.
So yeah, it's tough, especially when you're the kid from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and the Goonies.
Yeah.
There's only so far that kind of like broken English shtick could work for him.
Right.
Now, what's funny is that he is incredibly endearing in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good in this movie, but you can still tell it's him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's still like those little markings of Data and Short Round in there that I really enjoyed. And I thoroughly enjoyed his performance. I mean, watching the Oscars, Autumn and I were brought to tears when he was giving his speech. Yeah.
And I've watched the clip of when it won Best Picture, and he goes on stage and hugs Harrison Ford. Many, many times.
That's a great moment. They've been kind of like buddy on the awards circuit too, and it's been really kind of it's sweet because this is a really nice. This movie tells a great story, but it's funny that it's almost like the story outside of the movie itself is just it's a really endearing story, considering that when you look at the 3 Oscar winners, Ke Kwan was pretty much unemployed at this point. Jamie Lee Curtis has been doing the horror circuit for a while because they will still hire her for Halloween. But
I got a big old smile when she got up on stage and to my mom and dad who never were nominated, I won an Oscar.
Yeah. Wow. But it's just crazy to think 10 years ago she was doing those yogurt commercials that make you poop. You know, it's like, you know, she was doing those. And then Michelle Yeoh, I didn't realize this, but she was unemployed for 2 years after Tomorrow Never Dies.
Really?
Yeah, because they wanted her for the same type of role.
Oh.
I mean, her big American break outside of that was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is interesting because it's a
great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But, you know, to see her and realizing that she wasn't a trained martial artist. She was a ballerina. You know, she was a ballet dancer who learned like the art of theatrical martial arts. She was, you know, she was fantastic. And it was just like the story of these three, you know, and you add the Brendan Fraser aspect in it too. And it was a really huge moment for all four of them.
Yeah.
But this movie in and of itself, though, is... what did you think? Because I've watched this movie twice. Now, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, first off, I'm assuming we're going to go spoiler on this one.
We have to.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the movie
it's a spoiler.
Movie's been out for about a year now, but just in case you haven't seen it yet,
it's on Showtime. It's on. I think it might be on Paramount Plus. I'm not 100% sure about that, but
it's definitely on Showtime. I actually didn't need to use your logins. I was able to watch on Xfinity.
Oh, okay.
I guess we've got Showtime on that as well. So
surprise.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you haven't seen this movie, stop this, pause it, go watch the movie. It is well worth you watching, and come back because this was an amazing movie.
And now with that said, that makes me so happy to hear you say that, Mike.
And I really went in this fairly blind. Like I've seen like a few clips. I've never watched a single trailer for this one. I knew it dealt with like a multiverse thing, and like I'd seen like the googly eye, and I saw the clip during the Oscar bit where for the editor, his speech, by the way, was phenomenal. Guys,
this is my second movie. Yeah.
And my mom's here. She's going to scream out. There she is. But they showed a clip of her like doing like teppanyaki and then spinning a timer on her, on her spatula, or whatever. But so I went into this fairly blind. It is an amazing movie, but it's got a lot of deep. It's a story. It's like a moral that we've seen before.
Yeah.
But they take such an amazing way to present the story that it really makes it seem fresh and familiar at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think that's the cool thing about this movie is that it's very easy to go into this movie blind because it's impossible to tell somebody what it's about.
Yeah.
It defies all sanity and logic to tell somebody that you could just say, you need to see this movie because it's fucking insane.
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh has to fight against Jawa Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I love all the different names she had for that.
Oh my God. All of the fighting too. I mean, think of this too. This is considered the first science fiction movie to ever win Best Picture.
Ooh, that's
it's the first science. It's the first movie classified as sci-fi to win Best Picture, but it's more than that. This is a kung fu movie. It's a
family drama.
It's a family drama, exactly. It's a superhero movie.
It's a comedy.
Yeah,
it's a very funny movie too.
Oh my God, there's so many great bits in this, especially because it's a great way of cutting the tension. Like when they're in that office and, they're taping Joy up and she's trying to describe Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. And they're like,
I love how that
comes full circle. I love Ratatouille.
I love how that comes full circle too.
Oh my God. That was not only that, but I love the fact that you can kind of see it live, even though Ratatouille, voiced by Randy Newman.
Oh, of course.
Just watching him tug on Harry Shum's hair and just being like, it's crazy because it's done in such a way that can only be done by guys who look like the Daniels.
Yeah.
This is a movie that is, I see the Daniels, I see, Daniel Steinberg and Danny Wang, and I'm just like, I would have hung out with these guys.
Yeah.
It's conceivable I could have hung out with these guys. This is also the kind of movie that, had this come out in the 90s, I wouldn't have shut the fuck up about this movie. Because
it really feels like a modern evolution of a kung fu movie.
Oh, yeah. And it adds all the extra, like all the, we talked about Crouching Tiger. And just like, that worked in a lot of like the wire work that we got a feel for in The Matrix. And then, in Crouching Tiger really got like the majestic look at a kung fu movie. And, as it goes, we've seen kung fu blended with sci-fi before. Jet Li used to do a bunch, but I think The One was one that.
Speaking of which, guess who worked on The One as an assistant?
Would that be Ki Hei Kwan?
It would be Ki Hei Kwan.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you're right about this. This is like the natural progression of where a kung fu movie would go, where in order to get these abilities, it's not like, I'm doing drunken fighting right now, and I can only be an amazing martial artist if I have too much to drink.
Yeah.
Or in a way like the Jackie Chan style of kung fu. With this, I love that they have to do something absolutely ridiculous to unlock another universal version of themselves, and then they have to tap the Bluetooth headset, those old school Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah.
And
you have to tell her that you love her and really mean it.
Yeah. But like, there's that scene where, it was like the guy had to shove that trophy up his butt.
Yeah.
In order to unlock the thing. And it's just the fight to keep it away from him. And then that other guy with the pixelated junk, great touch, just squat jumps right on top of it.
The weird thing is, when I first went, when Deirdre brought out those shivers, I'm like, that kind of looks like a butt plug.
Yeah, it does look like a butt plug. And lo and behold, and between that, the fact that she snorts a fly, and all of a sudden it unlocks a multiversal version of her where her pinkies are like super strong.
And then the hot dog fingers.
The best part about that was the fact that in the Alphaverse, they're like, what evolutionary strain caused that? And then they cut back to the apes, the 2001 apes, fighting, and it's like the regular-handed apes lost the evolutionary war to the hot dog fingered apes.
But I love how they bring it full circle, and at the end it's like, yeah, when you have hot dogs for fingers, you use your feet really well.
Yeah,
she was able to use her feet really, really well. It
cool. It was also funny. What's funny about that too is when they do unlock that, it's you can't. Evelyn can't. She doesn't manifest the hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
But you can see her like fighting like she has them.
Yeah.
It's crazy because this movie goes in so many wonderful directions.
I mean, I always love seeing more James Hong too.
Oh, James Hong was so good in this.
Did not realize James Hong was in this movie when I started.
Yeah.
So like when Gong Gong comes on, I'm like, James Hong, yay!
And the best part about that too, well, first of all, throughout the awards season, they've been bringing him up. He's like, okay, let me tell you about how Hollywood treats Chinese actors. It's like, oh shit, here we go.
Dude, he's like either in his late 80s or early 90s.
He is in his early 90s, but he's still
to give
really on.
Oh yeah. For a guy as old as he is, he actually had a decent amount of role in this one.
Yeah, he did. Because most of it, he never got out of the wheelchair.
Except at the end when he had the robo suit on.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Man, like toasters and
printers
or whatever.
And you know I know that the success of this movie is going to open up doors for everybody. I am really happy for Stephanie Hsu, who, gave an amazing. Honestly, I think she gave a better performance than Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. That said, I wasn't disappointed to see Jamie Lee Curtis win.
No.
I was very happy for her.
Do you know what the next movie that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be in?
It's not going to be another Halloween movie, is it?
Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's right.
She's Madame Leota.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
But I really like. I've been watching The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and Stephanie Hsu is in that, and she's really good because she's playing like that fast talking 1950s type of character, but from a Chinese family.
Yeah.
And she's really good in that, and she really caught my eye on that show. And then to see her in this, I'm like, oh, that's the same person.
And I also always love seeing more Jenny Slate and seeing her show up using her dog as a.
Oh my God, that was so great. So I love Jenny Slate. I am so happy that what happened to her on SNL didn't affect her career.
What happened to her on SNL?
On her very first episode, she said "fuck" on air.
Oh,
it was a complete slip up, but they kind of let her know that was going to affect the rest of her one season on the show. But it didn't affect her at all because she did Parks and Rec. She's done several movies. She was the voice of Marcel the Snail of Shoes on.
She's done a lot of voice work actually. She was
Zootopia.
Zootopia. She was actually the in the show Star vs. the Forces of Evil. She voices Star's best friend, a disembodied floating head, unicorn head.
Nice. I will always think of her as Mona Lisa Saperstein from Parks and Rec, though. She's great in that. But yeah, that whole scene with the dog is great because again, it's all that kung fu stuff and like that zip ball thing, but she's using the dog. And then when Evelyn cuts the line and the dog just goes flying one way. And the funny thing is, it didn't matter that dog looked fake.
Yeah.
Because it's all part of the presentation of this.
And it didn't matter that the raccoon looked fake either.
Oh, yeah. No, that raccoon looked animatronic. I had no problem with that.
No.
The running when, they're trying to catch up to him. I mean, that running was about as fake as young Clark Kent in the first Superman movie when he's trying to, run against the train. It's like, hey, we just have him on a thing. Just keep flapping your arms.
His feet aren't even touching the ground. Don't worry about it.
But he's, it was just, it's one of those movies that, like, it's hard to nail down, hard to define, and that's what makes it so wonderful. Yeah. You mentioned the editor in his great Oscar speech earlier. The editing in this was so crisp. Not only because it really takes a lot to effectively edit, like, a good action sequence.
Oh, yeah.
But all of those little pieces, like when they're showing Evelyn, like, through all these different universes. I mean, we're talking like 50 or so shots of Michelle Yeoh, like, framed perfectly against other backgrounds and everything. And it worked so well. And it's just, that's like, it's a frame. They were cutting frames to make this work.
Fantastic. Absolute pitch perfect.
Yeah.
And just the creativity of the Daniels, though. I mean, like, there was a dimension where there were pinatas.
I love that. I love the pinata world. I love the rock world.
The rock world was just so weird. I mean,
that's what's
I like the fact that he was like, yeah, this is the one where the chemistry for life didn't quite work. Actually, most of them are like this.
But the other one too, I don't know if you noticed, one of the worlds or one of the universes was animated.
Yeah, there was one that was like a pen, like almost crayon drawing.
Yeah, there was a crayon drawing, but there was also one that looked more anime.
Oh, I missed that one.
It was in that sequence of just like the 50 shots of Evelyn.
Yeah.
But the whole analogy of it, it's all an everything bagel.
Yeah, I will never be looking at an everything bagel ever again.
Yeah. Well,
Not
I
the same
always,
way.
you know what, things I don't really eat everything bagels because I always thought they had like onion on them. No, it's just poppy seeds, salt, sesame.
Oh, really? Because I love poppy seed bagels. You can't find them anywhere anymore.
No. You know what though? I think
you have to go to a specialty bagel shop in order to get a poppy seed bagel now. You can't get them.
I think that the next time I do treat myself to Dunkin' Donuts, I might, which has been forever since I've done that. I might have to get myself an everything bagel and then hold it over my head. But the fact of is, can you truly have everything on a bagel? Is just, it's a great analogy for this the concept of this entire thing. Can you have it all? And when you break down Evelyn and how she wants to have it all, and she's not really good at anything.
Yeah, I love it when Wayman is like, yeah, they're countless, infinite number of Evelyns, and they've all been able to do something. Like, you're the only one that's like, who's never been able to succeed at anything in life.
Yeah.
That's what makes her special.
Yeah, it was really cool, by the way, that they managed to recreate her entire outfit from the premiere of Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, is that what she wore at the at the movie theater when it says the end?
Yeah,
and they actually start going through the credits.
That was great. That was fantastic. It's such a great fake out.
Directed by the Daniels.
Yep. But I felt like it was just, there's so much going on in this movie. And again, it's one of those movies, it's got infinite rewatchability. Because it's so, like, you missed something. I guarantee you missed something. I picked stuff up on the second time, and I still know I missed stuff.
Yeah. But honestly, it's the evolution of Evelyn's character. Really, it's like her final, like, when Joy is like, just let me go.
Yeah.
And she's like, she lets her go, and then she comes back. It's like, I thought she was just gonna let her go.
Yeah.
And then she pulls her back. It was a really, really touching moment.
It was, because it's tough, especially in traditional Chinese families. I mean, that whole thing when, she has that first glimpse at being born and everything, and I'm sorry, it's a daughter.
Oh yeah. And then when she goes to marry Wayman and Gong Gong's like, I'm never talking to you again.
Yeah. It really is touching that, and she has those same problems with her, relating to her daughter, and especially coming from a traditional Chinese family, and then, your daughter's gay.
With not even gay, but gay with a white woman, not an Asian woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And cool. So I kind of wanted to see more about Becky.
Yeah, I think they used Becky to a really good point, and it's not like they brought her in as being one of the multiversal people who got awoken.
Right. Yeah, you didn't need her as one of those soldiers. She just needs to be Becky.
Yeah, because I think it would have flat if Joy were not, if Joy were more of a protagonist in this. Excuse me, then maybe that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But excuse me. So yeah, I really like this movie. I like, and I don't want to take away from Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought she did a great job in this movie, especially, not so much during, like, towards the end is really when she won me over.
Yeah.
After, she kind of understands what Evelyn is going through, and they just kind of sit there. And they're talking about, she talked about how her husband left her and all that. And then is that really cute bit
when they share the vape?
Teach her how to use the vape pipe.
I loved that moment. That was like probably my favorite moment between the two because it was just that one moment where they're finally connecting.
Exactly, and it worked really well, and yeah, overall, I mean, this movie is just so fantastic.
Mm.
I thought the music by Son Lux was excellent.
Mm.
And it's one of those things that honestly, it's one of the few awards that they lost that I wasn't super upset about, only because the music in All Quiet on the Western Front is like its own character.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
that's probably not a movie I'm going to be watching anytime soon.
No, it's a downer. It's a
huge
downer. But it just overall, it's tough. It really is tough. I think it's tough to have a constructive conversation about this movie in a way that really opens it up, because we'd be here for hours talking about it.
What I think I like most is the fact that this, much like It All Happened One Night, this feels like it was not designed to be an Oscar winner. It just felt like it was just designed to be a fun, really touching, really out there, rich, fun movie that somehow connected with all the Academy voters. Which, normally, you see a movie and it's like, oh, that's Oscar bait. Okay, it won. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right about this. This is not only that, but it has that rare distinction of having been released close to a year before I think it was released in March or April of last year.
Yeah. I was talking with a couple of my friends at work, and we were like, and he was like, "Do you know what was the winner last year?" I'm like, "I have no idea." He said, "Nomadland." I'm like, "I've never even heard of that movie."
Wrong. It was Coda. Nomadland before that.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, Coda. I've heard it was shot in black and white and it was Apple Plus. That's it.
Yeah.
And then Nomadland, I'd never heard of that movie.
And that I think that's because that movie had the misfortune coming out when no one was going to the movies.
Yeah.
It's the 2020 winner for the 2020 Best Picture.
Yeah.
Even Coda. I mean, Coda is the first streaming movie to win Best Picture. This is the first sci-fi movie. It's the first movie to win 3 acting Oscars and Best Director and Best Picture. And it's just one of those things that you're right, because when you look at some of the other movies that got nominated this past year, it's a lot of Oscar bait in there. All Quiet on the Western Front is my second favorite out of all the nominees, but it's Oscar bait.
Yeah.
Tar is Oscar bait. It's Cate Blanchett Oscar bait. It's one of those movies that in a stronger year, she would have gotten nominated, but not much else would have been. Like in a super powerhouse year. But this was the year that they decided that Elvis, Top Gun, and Avatar were all going to get nominated for Best Picture. Top Gun Maverick is just a movie.
Yeah. As is Avatar.
As is Avatar, yeah. And good luck having me try to watch it anytime soon until I'll watch it when it hits Disney Plus, and I'll just watch it.
I've never even seen the first Avatar, and I genuinely have no desire ever to. I don't care. I'll watch Ferngully. I enjoyed Ferngully. It's got a rapping voice by Robert Williams.
There we go. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this year was a weird year, and I'm happy that this one won.
Yeah.
It mainly built on the backs that it wasn't a crazy strong year, but this was a really strong movie.
Yeah.
This is the kind of movie that speaks to nerds like you and I, definitely. And the beauty is it was produced by the Russo brothers.
Oh yeah.
Which is great on so many aspects.
So they are officially Academy Award winning producers.
They are not actually. The credited producers were the Daniels, and there was one other. Now I'm going to pull this up. It was the Daniels and one other person. There's 2 different levels of producers.
Okay.
Jonathan Wang. All right, so it was Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert, and Jonathan Wang. They were the producers of the movie. They're the ones credited or can get the Oscar. Joe and Anthony Russo were also producers, but I think they might have been more on the money and influence side of things than on the actual production.
I mean,
the Academy only allows so many. What's that?
Good for them for that, you know?
Yeah. So here's the other fun little fact, too. In one night, the Daniels have won as many Oscars as Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Okay.
3. Steven Spielberg has 3 Oscars. They each have 3 Oscars now.
I did like when Ke Huy Quan said, credited Spielberg because he was the one that gave him his first job.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Now it's like now I kind of strangely want to go back and watch Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Willie still bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, but so I mean I don't know if you got anything else to say about this movie. First of all I'm thrilled that you love this movie. I should have guessed because you didn't text me all that much while you're watching. You texted me twice last night.
Yeah,
while you're watching.
Yeah, once when they mentioned Rakakuni, I didn't realize that they were going to bring that back too. I just like when they first brought it up during the in the office.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, cool, Rakakuni, and then oh shit, they're actually going to do it.
Well, not only that, but the 2 times that they do show it, like in the kitchen and then at the teppanyaki table,
he pulls the hat off.
That's the other thing too. Some of the skills that they had, like she was a sign spinner.
Yeah,
and she was able to use like the riot shield. Yeah,
that was so cool. Yeah, it's just the creativity in this movie is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, also the Dom, like the S&M Dom.
Oh yeah,
Daniel Shiner.
Oh, I thought I recognized him.
Yeah, he was the director. He's one of the directors of the movie.
Well, hey, the Russos always put themselves in the movie, so
that's true.
Why not?
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, I'm thrilled you like this. This was a very satisfying win for this movie. This is probably my favorite movie of last year. And it's the kind of movie I want to share with other people now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, really enjoyable movie. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Daniels do next. I know that they're going to be helming an episode of Skeleton Crew.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Yeah. Which is really cool. And it's kind of funny because Daniel Kwan actually said the reason why they're doing it is so they keep their health insurance. It was just a sad indication of the film industry.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Hey, you know what? You get in good with Disney and doors open.
Yeah, exactly. And now that they've worked with the Russos,
yeah,
those doors are definitely going to open.
After the Oscar win, I'm sure that Disney's going to be like, yeah. After you do that Star Wars movie, Star Wars show, any Marvel characters you want to mess around with?
Oh, I'm sure that they've got a list of great obscure characters. And I wouldn't honestly be shocked if we do see their names pop up in various Disney Plus Marvel episode, like TV episodes. I mean, I could see them doing a Daredevil. I could see them doing one of the Daredevil episodes. I could see them doing an episode of season 2 of She-Hulk. I could see them doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But even still, even if they do something independently, if they do another kind of oddball film like this one, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time in a long time I've been excited by new directors' works.
Yeah. What have they done before this one anyway?
They did a movie. They did that island movie with Daniel. Not Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe.
When he's like the farting corpse. Yeah, Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, Swiss Army Man. I think they've done a few music videos.
Yeah.
But I mean, essentially, okay, they did Awkwafina as Nora from Queens, which was a TV series.
Yeah, the only movies they've done are Swiss Army Man and Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is
crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad to see that there's innovation that is still out in Hollywood, that we can still see it, and this is, something I want to see. Maybe not more of this exact thing, because now we have this.
Yeah.
But just to see what kind of expressive voices we can get that are inspired by this.
Yeah.
Because that's the next step. This movie is going to inspire a lot of up-and-coming filmmakers, especially because of the way that the Daniels came up in this. So, more power to them. Again, I think this movie is phenomenal. I will share my recommendation of this movie with everybody.
Yeah.
So,
my friend at work, he was like, I saw it. He's like, I don't really. I mean, it's really good. He just didn't get kind of like the big huge hype around it. But hearing me talk about how much I did enjoy it, he was like, well, maybe I'll give it a second shot.
Yeah, and I it's on our watch list because Autumn hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I put it on our watch list.
So let her watch this review.
I'm not gonna. She never watches these reviews anyway. It's not a big deal. So anyway, that was Everything Everywhere All at Once. So that is also the end of our Academy Awards season. I think we should do this again next year. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Maybe next year we do it in reverse, though. Maybe we do work backwards in the decades instead.
Interesting. Ooh, that actually gives me an idea, but we'll talk
about that offline.
Yes.
So anyway, that was that. But next week, it will be the month of, actually it's still going to be the month of March, but still, I think we're going to kick this off a little early because Andy be busy with a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with the podcast for a change. But we are going to be kicking off our Disney month a little early. Every April, we designate it as our Disney month. And this year, Mike recommended, and I think we're going to go with, we are going with this. We are going to review 4 Disney documentaries, starting next week with Waking Sleeping Beauty,
which we both seen already,
and we'll watch again for more
absolutely
stuff.
Marvelous documentary. It is so good.
It's one of those. It's really eye-opening, and kind of amazed that Disney let this one happen.
Yeah,
but
it pulls the curtain back on some good things and some not so good things.
Yeah, some not so great stuff, but it's on Disney Plus. So if you want to watch it in preparation for next week's video, so that way you don't have to wait to watch the movie, you can watch it beforehand and then see our review of it. Yes. So next week we will be talking about Waking Sleeping Beauty. So now we're putting the question out to you. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once? What'd you think of it? Leave a polite comment below. Do you think it deserves to win Best Picture? Also, we do this every week. So if you like what you're seeing tonight because you're like, ooh, yet another Everything Everywhere All at Once review, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Leave those polite comments. Let your friends know, too, that we are here because we love having these conversations about our movies. We had a great conversation last week about Amadeus. Can't wait for next week as well. And I really enjoyed our conversation tonight. Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts. It's iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere. If you are on iTunes, give us that 5-star rating because apparently it's the only thing that counts. You can also follow us on the socials at Geek Salad Radio on Twitter, Mastodon, and Hive.
Yeah, we are everywhere all at once.
Everywhere all at once. And we're also on Facebook, which is the salt on the Everything Bagel. I have to say one last thing about that. I love that was kind of like the cast bonding thing that they did at the Oscars. Whenever any of their team won, right up. They just went right up with that bagel. So cool. Awesome. So anyway, that's the show. Go see the movie if you haven't seen it already. Go watch Waking Sleeping Beauty. Until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.